The new text animations have quick to apply templates, or they can be customized. Let's take a look at the templates first. In the Objects and Animation screen, we create our text in the normal way, either one line or, as you can see here, 2 lines. Further down the Properties tab, we've got the animation box, and when I tick that, the text disappears. Now, that's quite normal because what we've effectively done here is to select the first of those templates. But we get other choices, and if I click the Customize button to the right, those choices pop up. There's the one that we've just selected by default, but there's many others in here. So I could select Rotate horizontally, and we can have a different effect into the screen or onto the screen as well as out. So we've got 2 choices here. If we do nothing here, if I select the out, for example, you can see it's the same as in. So we'll stick with just the in for a moment. In this window, we can see a timeline at the bottom of the text animation. Now what this is showing us is our entire slide duration. This is the start of our slide duration, just the same as the keyframe here. This is the end of the slide duration of that slide, as would this position here. What we've got here though is 2 movable markers. So we can move these to change the way the text appears on screen, and of course we can see that text appearing as well. So if, for example, I wanted that text to be much quicker on screen, I've got to drag this marker back. And when we put the cursor to the left and press play, you can see the result. If I move this cursor almost to touch the next one, and we do the same again, we're going to get a much slower result. But of course the text isn't going to remain on screen hardly any time at all before it's removed. So we can get a good idea or a good feel for how the text is going to look on screen. So the text will always start at the very start of our slide duration, but will be fully on screen by the time we get to this marker. This marker signifies when the text is about to leave the screen, and it'll be fully removed by the time we reach this point. Now we do have another issue to consider. I'll close that window just for a moment. Keyframes in the Objects and Animation screen can reduce the slide duration, but in relation to our animated text. It's to avoid the animation clashing with our transition. We can see here that we've got a standard 7-second slide duration, but we've got 2 seconds when the slide is going to appear on screen, and we've got 2 seconds where it's going to leave the screen. There's a good chance that when we have our text coming on screen, we want to avoid those transitions. If that's the case, we can just move this to the position we want the text to begin to appear on screen. So if we wanted a second past that 2-second fade, we'd need to move our keyframe somewhere around there. Now straight away we can see we're running up against the possibility of us not having enough time here to do what we need to do. So we may have to increase the slide duration. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to drop out of this screen and I'm going to change it to something like 12 seconds. Now having done that, I've got a bit more space to work with, but if I put my cursor to the left and press play, we now know that that skyscape would actually appear before the text started to appear on the screen. But we've also got the same issue at the other end of our slide duration. So if we wanted to avoid any animation of our text running over the fade out of this image and the fade in of the next, we just create a keyframe. I'm going to right click and add a keyframe. Now the strange thing here is we don't need to put any values in these, we just need to put them in the position we want them. So let me give that one more test. The image appears on screen, our text does what our text does, and it's gone by the time it reaches that second keyframe. So we've got quite a bit of control over our animated text. Now, watching a full screen preview, we can see that the sky appears before the text starts to animate, and the text is gone and doesn't clash with the fade off and the fade on of the next image. Now, moving over to the customized text options, they're very similar to the templates. We add the text in the usual way, and via the properties box, we tick the animation, exactly the same as the templates. We click the customize button, but here we have another customize button, and when we click that, we get a number of options open up to us. How the text appears and when are controlled exactly the same as we've demonstrated for the templates. The text animation timeline is how, keyframes are when. In the top section here, we have glyph style. Now, the glyph style simply means how the letters, or in this case, how the words or the lines appear. So let's just select slide left. There may be some other options included in the final version. But let's select slide left, and just for the moment I'm going to go to the left hand side of the text animation, and you can see exactly what that does. So the glyph is determining each individual letter, but when we move down from here, we can do this either in lines order or in words order. So if I tick, let me untick that and tick the lines order, and we also get options to go first to last, last to first, from center to center. Quite a number of changes here, but if I put my cursor back at the start and press play, now you can see that we're getting exactly the same glyph style, but it's being applied to the lines. And once that comes to a stop, I'll switch that and we'll take a look at the same thing with words. And let's just for variation, I'll switch it back the other way. Not sure how this is going to look, but there we see it. Now, just a reminder that we can do the same as we did with the templates. We can have a different effect for the text in or onto the screen as out, but unless we make a change in the Out tab, the default will remain the same as in. If we find some nice effects that we want to use again, we can save them as a template. We also have the opportunity to add groups, so that if I've got, let's pick lines order, and I can select first to last, I can add a group, and I could change this, let's say, from the outside towards the center. Maybe a little bit unpredictable, but of course we do have the opportunity to just press play and see exactly how that manifests itself with our text. And here, working in lines, that wasn't such a wonderful test, was it? But I think you get the idea. It's going to need a little bit of experimentation. Now, I've changed my settings just a little bit, and I've just ticked the glyphs order, and I've got the group 1 set to A to Z, but group 2 set from the center of the screen outwards, and you can see the effect that has on the text. So, as I said just a few moments ago, there's a degree of experimentation required. If we're looking to create text, we click on the T and the text appears, and we can go to the right hand side and begin typing. I'm just going to delete that for a moment, but if I go just beside it, we've got a little drop down option now and something new in PTE 11. These are vector graphics. So we can select one of these, and as you can see, add it to our image, and there's quite a number of options there: animals, arrows, clocks and time, etc. And if we want to make these bigger or smaller, we can do so without any loss of quality. There's not a great deal more I feel the need to say about these, but we can use those animated text options we've just looked at with the vector graphics as well. Now, in the fullness of time, I'm sure we'll come back and look at more detail at some of these options.